There you
This
go.
is it. Yep. This is a Community Preservation Committee meeting on October 1st, 2024. And my name is Ann Mazar, and I'm the chair of the committee, and I represent the Land Use Committee. And why don't we go around and introduce ourselves, starting with Dan.
Dan Byer, the Parks Commission rep.
Barry. All right, Kathy.
Kathy Schofield, Historical Commission rep.
Mike Goddard.
Yeah, planning board.
Okay, Barry. Great. Mike Goddard. Mike Goddard.
Sorry, Mike Goddard, Select Board.
All right, and Mike Amendalia.
Mike Amendalia, Conservation Commission.
Great. And we have a guest, Bill Sipley. And so I think that we should jump to that agenda item, which is discussing the new Senior Community Center. So why don't we do that?
Sure. Thanks, Ann. Thanks, everybody, for allowing me to give you an update tonight. I've got a few slides I'm going to show. I'm going to go quickly through it. I don't think you need a lot of it. I think will look familiar. I'm going to share my desktop with you. Share a desktop, I hope. Hang on a second. I had the same problem the other night.
Do I need to do anything to let you share?
No.
No. Okay.
Hold, please. I'll get it. Funding analysis, Mendon Senior Center. I'm just trying. Oh, browse my.
You don't have a share on top of your screen?
I got to share. I'm looking for the actual, just share my desktop.
Oh.
But I'll get there. I can browse it and find it.
Well, while you're looking, why don't we approve the minutes while you're looking around? Oh, you got it?
No, go ahead. That's all right.
Did you have a chance to read the last meeting's minutes?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
I will say that I did change one thing where it said Deer Hill Street. I changed that to Deer Hill Drive. That was the only change that was made. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
I think
Mike, aye. Dan, aye.
I think we're gonna do roll call vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goddard, aye.
Okay.
Mike Amendalia, aye.
Dan?
Barry, aye. Roller, aye.
Hey, Barry?
Dan, aye.
Kathy
Kathy?
Schofield, aye.
Okay, Ann Mazar, aye. Okay. All right,
Okay.
Phil, are you set?
No, I wish I was, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
Okay, Dan, quick one. I got a share screen window. Microsoft
Yep.
Edge,
So-
our screen.
Screen just shares everything. Otherwise, you can, if you click on window, then it'll let you pick like PowerPoint, PDF, whatever the file is.
There we go. Thank you, sir. It's different than it was the other day. Are people seeing things?
There you go.
Okay, good. Oops. Minimize, going back. All right. Just to give you a brief update, I'm going to, we'll just go with this. I think you can see it well enough. As you're all aware, we narrowly were defeated back in May. The select board and the committee still determined that the need was still vital. So we moved forward to see what we could do to address some of the issues. The center is needed, the resources are needed for our town. The location for the community, for the center is, we evaluated and it's still very strong and it's focal right in the middle of the town. And our essential services, we need to get a better facility with larger space, or we won't be able to serve not only the senior center, but the community functions we do there. And when we say senior center, it's really a community center today. We have a food pantry, we have outreach programs that service folks, not only seniors, but all sorts of folks in the town, all ages. And based on a new facility, the space requirements, we went and said, okay, what can we do to reduce the cost of the facility? So if you recall, we were at $13.2 million at the last vote. And we reduced the cost to $11.9 million. And by reducing the building approximately 2,000 square feet, but still be able to handle the essential services.
How many feet did you reduce it?
To 9,600.
And what was it before?
11,670. So we dropped it by 2,000 square feet. And that provided us with a 11.9 to 13.2 difference in cost. That's roughly a 10% reduction in space, a little less than that in cost because of the fact that you have infrastructure regardless. As you reduce the building, your square foot cost sometimes a little bit because you still have all the basic needs inside the building. We'll touch on this one quickly. It looks very much the same in the front. The back, we still maintain the integrity of the design. Essentially, we took out sections in the middle of the building. We moved the front and the back closer together. We worked the footprint to reduce the footprint size and parking spaces, but they're still ample. And then the bottom line talks about the various programs and positions we have for all the function rooms. And we do have detailed cost analysis for all this information. And then the detailed floor plan. I don't know if you can see, but if you look at the two buildings, the front and the back sections, they're closer together. We moved some of the functions that were upstairs down to the bottom floor, and we moved some things around, but we still have functions rooms for the community, because we do think that the Mendon Center is not just a senior center, but it's something for the community as well. When you look at the impact after Jeremy's presentation yesterday, the impact to the voters is somewhere. Last time we had for an estimate of $500,000 cost per average cost of assessment. It was an impact of roughly $150 a year. That impact now will be about somewhere around between $130 and $135 a year, which means the impact in that 500,000 assessment is roughly $11.25 per month. And that's not a override. It's a debt. We're getting debt for a short period of time, for the period of loan. It's not a permanent override. So what we're doing right now is we're going around, we're meeting people, we're talking to people, we have our plans. There's frequently asked questions that are on the website. There are information sources on the website. And you'll begin to see us promoting it through all the various meetings and town effects. The bottom line is that the seniors still need this space. The current space is obsolete, inadequate. It doesn't meet ADA requirements from the second floor standpoint, second room. And we're just asking the people in town to consider the fact that the seniors have put a lot of effort into the town. They're worth the investment. It's 20%, 28% of the population. It'll grow to 30% in the next 5 to 6 years. And it's a place for the community to go. As my daughter would say, she can envision taking her kids who are in school in Misco and Hipmunk and celebrating birthday parties at this place. Or you could use it for other events. The Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts not only meet at night, but they could meet after school across from Clough. So what we're looking for is just to continue to move forward with the project and hopefully get through the critical votes on the November 5th and November 18th.
Hey, Phil. One thing I might say is I think the town needs this space, not just the seniors need this space due to all the social outreach and
Yeah.
work that goes on. So I think the town needs a space like this to support veterans, visiting nurses, senior social interactions, as you've pointed out. I think when you say the seniors need this space, I might suggest you say the town needs this space to support those people that need this type of support, whether it be food pantry, senior social support,
Yep.
etc. But I just, when I hear the seniors need, I kind of say, well, I think the town needs it on behalf of the seniors. That makes sense.
I would agree with you, Mike. And if you, as you said earlier, I don't stress it enough. Sometimes I get, depending on what tape I'm playing, right, in my mind, I see the seniors when they struggle there, but the whole town does need this. And what goes on there with the outreach programs, what goes on there with the individual people who use the building in the evenings and other times. The food pantry, over 400 families are served. That's a significant number. So it's a complete town event, town facility. We're calling it the Mendon Center in our private meetings, and that's really what it's coming out to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think the town owes it to the community, and
Yep.
those people need this type of support or this type of venue to deliver it to them. I just hate to think that the seniors are out there with their hands out, because I don't think that's the case. I think the town, as a community, we should be investing in this because it's a big piece of a larger plan as well.
Yes, I agree. And to that point, Mike, the larger plan, I think you're working and the select board's working, and Ann, I think you're involved too with plans to address the recreation needs of the town. There's a committee coming up, and Dan, I think you'll probably be part of the recreation and land use kind of committee to find and solve some of the problems with fields. I think the town's finally addressing that. I think the capital planning is really showing how we can invest in more than one project at one time. Be able to plan it thoughtfully, identify it, attach it to what the strategic plan is for the town. So I'm urging, if people have questions or have negative thoughts about it or opposed to it, I'd like to hear that to find out why. So I'd ask the committee here if they have any issues or concerns that they'd like to bring up, questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first, I'll just echo what Elena said the other night. I appreciate the design that you're putting a building on this property that harkens back to its previous historical use. I think that's important, that's a critical property. So I think, even though it's not necessarily historic funds or historic building,
Yep.
at least we're trying to build something that looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to clarify, so at the last town meeting, we had approved funding for several additional recreational portions, basketball, pickleball. That vote is still valid. That work, assuming this gets approved, that work could still proceed.
That's correct.
Just, and maybe it's not worth confusing things with this go around, but at least from this committee's perspective, that was approved, so that's there as well.
Yeah, and the important thing about it, it is funded by the CPA, which are tax dollars which are already received by in those funds and not additional taxes.
Right. We could build those courts tomorrow without the senior center. They're not related, even though they're functionally at the same location.
Correct.
It's not driving the cost of this project.
Correct.
Right.
Any other questions?
Kathy.
Yes, Kathy.
Hi, Phil. One of my thoughts when this first went in front of the voters was that is there a strong enough representation again or from all the demographics in town behind this proposal? In other words, is do we have enough representation from other, groups, other how do I want to say this?
Other demographics.
Yeah, I mean, it felt very strongly driven by seniors. And I felt that maybe, getting that kind of support from other demographics behind this to really, represent a community, building as well would be a benefit.
Yeah, we've reached out to other people to be involved with the committees. We've presented to other people. So I'd like to look at some of the committee members. Dave, the police chief, he has children in this town who play flag football. He sits right in the middle of demographics that are key to us. We have other members that are not just seniors in our committee. There's senior presence because we're available to volunteer, but this is more than just a senior center. But your point's well taken. Anyone, I've gone to the school committees and invited them there. And I'll probably do that again. We'll make our rounds to all the people, and anyone's always welcome to these meetings and bring their opinions. But it's hard sometimes, as you may know, to get people involved with these committees. A lot of people will make mention on things on Facebook, but they won't sign up and do things in a committee.
Absolutely.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And if you have any ideas to invite some people along, Kathy, feel free to bring them along. They're always welcome. And we have slightly different.
I'll dig. Let's see what happens.
There you go. As Mike said earlier, this could be a cornerstone for the town to have a community center like this. And it could be a building block on that North Avenue location, close to the center of town, and the remaining acreage below it would be more than adequate for additional development by the town, by the vision the town has. Affordable housing or aged housing for the 55 plus, potentially, could be down there. So there's still 20 acres or so more land there.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Anything else? And anybody has ideas to get more demographics involved, I'd appreciate it. Well, they're always welcome.
Would this committee like to vote on supporting this project?
That'd be wonderful if you could.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Someone
me
like
too.
to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All right, well, let's go around and vote on that. We'll start with Michael Goddard.
Goddard, aye.
Dan,
Dan, I.
Mike Mendelia,
Michael Amendolia, aye.
Kathy,
Kathy Schofield, aye.
Barry,
Barry Adirola, aye.
Ann Mazar, aye. Great,
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now,
good luck.
One last ask I would have you do is go find 10 of your 12 of your friends and
Mhm.
convince them that's a good thing.
Get them out.
Yeah,
Okay. And I sent you frequently asked questions in these slides. Feel free to share them with the team, your team.
okay, okay,
And then Dan has all this on the website as well. And
great.
thanks for inviting me tonight.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Okay. Have a good evening, folks.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Good night.
Good night, Mike.
All right, the next item is items that could go on the November special town meeting. And one of the things that we voted on last week or last month was to pay for the appraisal for 5 Deer Hill Drive and 32 Thayer Road. So the town was interested in buying it because those two properties help protect that aquifer that's off of Providence Road. And 5 Deer Hill would be $1,400 and 32 Thayer would be $15,000. And it would be open space because it would be protecting the aquifer and watershed there. So it's something that we could use CPA funds for. So we could put that on the warrant. Any thoughts or discussion on that?
Are those numbers firm?
I have to talk to Jack. I think they did talk to the homeowners. So that's the appraised value, the appraised value. So likely, do you know, Dan? Any
No,
more
I
on
was
that?
just thinking, we've been so busy with this thing with water. I didn't think to ask him if there was any more news on that, if he had a chance to negotiate with them. I mean, we might consider voting it up to amount. From the previous discussion, it sounds like there could be some room in those numbers if they need to adjust things, or I don't know, but
I think even tonight,
we'd have to.
we can get placeholders on, you
Right.
know, the warrant, and even I mean, I think October 8th, is that when we have to get the items on, Mike? Or is it the 18th?
I would
I
say
have it.
18.
Okay, so we have some time.
17th.
Right, not the Friday, the Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I think if people are in general agreement, when's the November meeting? Is that Tuesday before the special town meeting? Let me look. Yeah, the special town meeting's on November 18th, so at our next meeting, we can make a specific vote.
That I'd move we'd get placeholders over to Jeremy to get on the warrant. The dollars to be determined later or finalized later.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
Right, any more discussion? Okay. Barry, are you talking or no?
No, I'm just
Okay.
waiting to vote.
Okay. Why don't we go? Your box is flashing, so I didn't know. All right, Michael Goddard,
Goddard, aye.
Dan,
Dan, I.
Mike Mendelia,
Mike Amandalear, aye.
Kathy,
Kathy Schofield, aye.
Barry,
Barry Adirola, aye.
and Mazar, aye. Okay. Then the only other item I could think of is the gutters for the old Taft Library. So that's really a historical commission question.
Yeah, I would say at this point where there's no way we're prepared with any sort of concrete anything unless Kathy's done more work than I know of. But
No, that didn't happen.
I think there's a fairly substantial amount of research that needs to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
Dan, sorry.
No, go on.
Would it make sense to look at windows for town hall and just sort of more of the whole campus as a whole from a historical standpoint and kind of bundle it?
Yeah, I had a very brief conversation with Jeremy about some inside stuff too. I think it probably makes sense to get a bunch of this together in one project.
And you have that money set aside to do that.
Yeah, not gutter, but there's money for at least the design. I mean, like the windows need design. Yeah, the gutters maybe not so much, but we need to at least have something to have a public hearing and go to the state with for the historic.
Yeah,
so I would agree.
On some of those heavy rains, I think that it'll be really important to have good gutters on the Taft Library, just to protect the building and the land around it. So let's aim for the annual town meeting then, to have that. That sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. And I don't really have anything else. Does anybody have any items that should go on the annual town meeting? Okay.
On this special or the annual?
Or right, yeah, okay, in the annual. I'm sorry.
You mean on the annual, right?
No, the special in November.
I meant the special.
Right.
That the only thing we have right now is possibly the purchase of those two properties.
Okay, all right. No, yeah, no, I can't think of anything, but you know, I think like we said at our last meeting, you know, we would like to see if we can wrap up the records room to the best of our ability. So at least get the floor finished.
Is that
we should have all the money we need to complete that project once we close out this grant and everything, which is, I think Kathy sent in the paperwork. We did get, I don't know if this was before the last meeting. We did get the first section of our reimbursement. So now, once they review all this, we would get the remaining portion.
So Dan, in the minutes from the last meeting, there was a note that you're going to speak to Jeremy about possibly using ARPA or getting another source of funds to move it ahead. Did that ever happen, or could it happen?
I have not, but again, I think the floors are not an emergency. There's so many other things going on that it's just not a priority, at least for me. But I think we should follow up with him though before December, because if there's money that needs to be spent, that's an opportunity to spend them, and then the CPA money can just go back to CPA.
Right. And Dan, I think what we should probably do is move some of this record rooms work now into the capital process as well, since it's a facility. You know what I mean? Even if it's small dollars, when you start tracking to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think we still need to follow up with the contractor and get a revised quote and plan on the flooring. So I don't know whoever's going to lead, if Historic's going to lead the charge on that, or if
Right.
I just
Do you think it's more than 25, or what's your gut tell you an amount?
I don't know. The change order was 4,000, so I would say under 10.
Then scratch that capital.
I think it's small
Operational.
stuff. It's just now
Okay.
it's all the cleanup. We still would get somebody to come clean out the HVAC system. It's more ongoing work, I think, than major renovations at this point.
So who could send a summary of the work done for the records room? Because what we should do on the capital side is update the facility record to demonstrate sort of expected lifespan of the work that was done, things like that. Should Kathy follow up with you or and
that
you?
report?
That would come out of the report, which we're making a copy for the town.
Okay, thanks.
And that will be distributed. Well, we'll have one copy. It's too expensive to make more.
We could print. Yeah.
And and I spoke with Alina about meeting with Jeremy and just to give him an updated, in-depth understanding of the records room and what's left to do, and the desire that the police and fire would like to have their artifacts displayed in there for their 100th anniversary. So we thought it would be a good use, but we'll come and talk to the board about it once we figure out the logistics.
Speaking of the annual town meeting, you had talked about display cases possibly in the
that's
town
another
hall
one,
and those things,
so we had a meeting, a staff meeting a couple weeks ago to talk about some punch list projects, and we really haven't made a lot of progress. I do think that's something to look into, but before we do that, we need signage. We need, I don't know. At least for me, it seems like that's all nice to haves versus needs right now. But it would be good to maybe try and get something together for the annual if we're gonna propose something.
Yeah, and Jeremy's assistant is coming out to meet with us and take a look at what's at the Historical Society. She's going to come out and see what's there, what we would propose, could go there. I would love to see, I think we'd all love to see the weights and measures get moved into the town hall, because it's pretty substantial.
I think Jeremy's running with sort of more of a holistic view of the town hall plus annex in terms of what, if any, next steps are. So I think it's in good hands. Dan, would you agree that he's kind of
my impression right now is that there's a bajillion things going on, and it's just working through all of them. I know, just getting caught up, so I'm sure he'll have time to start working on these more.
Yeah, and I think we're willing to help along, and help him figure out some of this stuff. So,
but yeah, I think it would be good to, like Kathy, to have a meeting and maybe go over with him some of Historic's concerns, perspectives, whatever, so that stuff's on his radar.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
projects and everything.
Well, even we were talking about that house, the historic house on North Ave would be nice to somehow, preserve some of the houses so they don't get torn down.
Yeah, that would be a real shame.
Yeah.
So yeah, working on the North Ave Historic District is definitely one of our priorities. So they've already started doing some of the legwork and doing the research. So
Great. All right. Anything else? So the only project update is on the Denton property. Well, two things possibly, but no, really just the Denton property that we have all the funding for it. We got the 500,000 from CPA, 200,000 from Audubon, 600,000 from TNC, and then we just received the land grant, 500,000. So we have all the funds, and so we're just moving forward with the surveying, title search, and all those things. And that was good news. I was very happy.
that's incredible news.
Yeah.
And thank
Great.
you.
Great job.
Yeah. Incredible.
And so theoretically, we're meeting with Karis tomorrow, so I can kind of ask her some questions. We'll see.
I think Jeremy asked me to jump on that in case there's questions for the Trask property thing.
Oh, good.
I talked to him this afternoon.
Or the salt box or Trask?
Salt box, yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing research
So
you did,
hopefully
Dan.
That helps.
Was that in
us.
combination with Patrice?
Yeah, thanks. Patrice sent
that-
me some of the stuff I couldn't find, and then I just kind of typed it all up.
Yeah, that was,
But she had done a lot of the previous legwork.
yeah. Well, that was really fantastic to zero in on that it actually does exist and where it is. And then hopefully Karis will help us with the next steps.
Right.
And we can accept the gift of land. Well, I don't have anything else unless anyone else does.
I'm good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Got it.
Aye.
All right.
All right.
Schofield, bye.
Aye.
Okay, and so meeting adjourned. Dan, were you gonna say something else? It sounded like you were gonna say one more thing.
Nope.
No?
Good night, everyone.
Okay,
Good night.
Hi,
Good night.
thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.